We're welcoming Dr. Emre Türeli, who's Chief Scientific Officer at MyBiotech. He's also the leader of our demo case 3. Emre, can you tell us a little bit about your demo case in simple terms for our non-experts?
Sure. In general, we are working on a painkiller formulation. And as for the painkillers, it is very important how quick they will be effective. And they should be effective in different situations, not related to if you have just eaten something or if you haven't eaten something. And that is our goal, to come up with a formulation of a known drug, in this case, Ibuprofen, which would affect very quick, actually quicker than any other formulation on the market at the moment, and also is not somehow affected by the status of the stomach, which is if it is food inside, if it is no food inside, so that in all cases we will have the same quick action. And that we can realize with the nanoparticles, ibuprofen nanoparticles in a tablet or capsule formulation, as it is the case for the most of the marketed formulations. So that once you take the nanoparticle ibuprofen drug, you will get rid of your pain more quickly compared to the other formulations on the market.
Great, that sounds really interesting. Did you have a specific motivation for choosing this project to move forward?
I mean, the motivation was, we know that we could reach a quicker effect with nanoparticles, and quicker effect is very important for us, especially in the case of painkillers. So that we have chosen to work on ibuprofen, which is one of the very best known painkillers, to see if our technology would also work in this case, as we think it would work.
And Emre, can you tell us a little bit about the results that you've seen so far? What can you share with us?
We have developed the formulation, we have optimized the formulation, we have done in vitro and in vivo trials, which all showed that we are in the right direction, and we keep tracking basically the project to further advance the formulation.
Okay, and you were able to launch this project within the PHOENIX-OITB project as a demo case. In PHOENIX-OITB, we bring together service providers from the whole pipeline. How did it make a difference to you having access to these services at different stages of the development process? And would it have been different if you were on your own?
It made a huge difference, starting from the physical-chemical characterization of the nanoparticles. Through the PHOENIX consortium, we had access to electron microscopy pictures to really study the state of the nanoparticles, the particle size of the nanoparticles. We were able to start an in vivo trial on nanoparticle formulations of ibuprofen, which delivered us very valuable data, so that we know in which direction we should further develop our formulation. And to be honest, without the PHOENIX consortium or without the PHOENIX project at all, we won't be able to cover all these costs by ourselves and do all the necessary studies to further advance this project.
In addition to the cost benefits, of course, of having this funded through the project, beyond the project, we also have the PHOENIX single entry point, which was founded out of the project, which will be sort of a one-stop shop for future customers to access the services of the PHOENIX partners. So what do you see, how can you tell other customers what would be the benefits of having a single entry point like the PHOENIX SEP?
I mean, if you think like a startup, a small company who has one product, who has one interesting product, they brought it to a certain stage where they know it's working, but now they need to go further, do all the GLP studies, to do all the prepare the production, the characterization for the GMP phase, produce the samples, do all the regulatory work, do all the in vivo work. And as the startup is, it's not possible that you have from all these different departments, basically somebody who knows what it needs to be done. So you have heard already that you need to do GLP studies. Okay, but how and who should do that? And what are the points that you need to consider? Because also important as a startup, you have only a defined budget, which means you are not allowed to say, okay, I tried this, and if it doesn't work, I can do it again. That is also another option. And in case of PHOENIX, you can just go to the PHOENIX as a single entry point and say, look, this is my formulation, this is my stage. Now I want to advance my formulation. Please tell me what I need to do, in which order, with which companies, with which partners, what are the points to consider. Do you have experts on regulatory? Do you have experts on in vivo studies? Do you have experts on GMP who can help me to understand what I need to do? And that is like a virtual pharma company of your own, where you have 5, 6, 7 different departments where they can contribute into the development process.
So you mentioned startups as an example. Do you think that startups are best positioned to benefit from PHOENIX single entry point, or are there other companies or research groups that should be taking a look?
I mean, definitely there are other companies or groups. The focus or the goal would be different. For the startups, it is to be able to advance quickly with people who know what they are doing. For the small, medium enterprises, quite the same actually. Like the startups. For bigger companies, there can be 2 different reasons. Either they don't have the competence in-house for the nanoparticle, microparticle formulations, for example, or they don't have the capacities, in which case the PHOENIX would be also able to help them.
Yeah, that sounds really great. Well, thank you, Dr. Emre Türeli from MyBiotech, for telling us about your demo case and your experience with the PHOENIX services. We wish you a lot of luck finishing up your project, and we look forward to seeing the final results.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank you very much.